So let's take a look at the letters of country names, part 3. Cuba is the only country in the world to have C and U as its first two letters. Croatia is the only country in the world to have C and R as its first two letters. Equatorial Guinea is the only country in the world to have E and Q as its first two letters. Eritrea is the only country in the world to have E and R as its first two letters. Honduras is the only country in the world to have H and O as its first two letters. Israel is the only country in the world to have I and S as its first two letters. Kuwait is the only country in the world to have K and U as its first two letters. Kiribati is the only country in the world to have K and I as its first two letters. Micronesia is the only country in the world to have M and I as its first two letters. Peru is the only country in the world to have P and E as its first two letters. Rwanda is the only country in the world to have R and W as its first two letters. Thailand is the only country in the world to have T and H as its first two letters. Uruguay is the only country in the world to have U and R as its first two letters. Uzbekistan is the only country in the world to have U and Z as its first two letters. And Zambia is the only country in the world to have Z and A as its first two letters. Thanks for watching, guys, and please make sure to subscribe for 250,000 legends before time runs out. Cheers!